Hello. Today, I won't be covering something in a game this time, but a game itself. This game is Code Bunny. Code Bunny was released on September 22nd, 2023, originally being on itch.io, but as of the 19th of December, 2024, it's on Steam. This game was developed by Team 7th Star. Thank you all for making this game and for letting me review it. This game is getting new content added via updates, so just to let you know, I'll be playing on version 1.2.0. Right before we jump in though, I won't be covering the story, both because I wouldn't do it justice, and because I heavily recommend you go through it yourself. It's really good. Quick spoiler warning if you do plan to play it though, because some story elements are revealed by gameplay regardless. Anyways, let's move on to that gameplay. I'll be covering Hazel first, as she's my favorite of the two. She has a 4-hit combo, a walking slash, downward slash, and air slash. The last 3 can do reversals, and if you've played the Zero or ZX series, you absolutely know what this means. Hazel has a system called Karma. She'll gain Karma when hitting enemies, and she'll keep gaining Karma until she gets hit or hits a marked enemy, and she loses her Karma. If her Karma exceeds her health, she enters Karma mode, where her attacks do quadruple damage, but if she gets hit, she'll take heavy damage, only having enough health to take one more hit. She also has the Ghost Crescent. She can mark enemies and then do a homing slash. The damage of this will scale with the Karma currently, so it can do some insane damage if you save it up, so it's a good way of maintaining your Karma. She can jump again afterward. Finally, she has to parry. When an enemy or projectile gets too close, you can parry it, and any enemies will be marked in the process. She's really fun, and having to balance Karma makes her a lot more interesting. Axel's also really fun. He has a 3-hit combo, an air kick, and a spin attack, which can be used in the air. Axel gains a speed boost, the start of it is invincible, and the spin can damage enemies, and in that case, Axel ricochets off of them. You can also do a stomp on enemies, which will bounce on enemies and refresh your spin attack. Spin attacks and stomps add to your EX gauge, and you can do some stuff with it. First of all, it boosts the 3-hit combo in the kick. A for barrier will make a shield for him if he gets hit, but the entire bar is used up. Initially, this will be your most used EX move, but it's just there to keep you alive. The rest of these can only be used if the EX gauge is maxed out. If you hold down forward and attack, you perform the Comet Kick, which bounces off of enemies, it hits. If you attack while spinning, you do the Comet Dash, a tackle attack, which bounces off of enemies it hits, while keeping EX gauge stable if it does hit. If you hold up while attacking, you can do the Comet Boost, which will effectively give you a damaging jump, and if it hits any enemies, you keep your EX gauge, which can let you chain into more Comet Boosts. Axel's also super fun. Keeping your EX gauge stable is key, and you can do some insane stuff with proper play. Both characters are designed really well. They have low skill floors and high skill ceilings. Time to get to the big thing of this video, the stages. The intro stage, Lumna City, is great at introducing you to the game with both characters. There's not too much to it, but it's good at showing you how you can use both characters, and how you'll solve different challenges with both of them. Loon is also really easy, but it's the intro stage, so no surprises there. Overall, a great stage when it comes to introducing the game, and teaching you both characters, but other than that, not much happens here. Its theme is pretty good though, I like it. Forest of Morag is also really fun. Because it's the second stage, it still gives you examples of stuff you can do with both characters. The new enemies are fun to deal with, and their health makes you have to put a lot more effort into killing them. The first section's pretty fun, and the second section after this fall keeps it going, but it's really short. Phase first encounter is really easy, as you can just hit the projectiles back, but the stage has more after that. The final section is really cool. This new enemy is fun, and this part especially is great. If you Ghost Crescent here, and you mark onto this ladybug, you can go right to the end. Phase second fight is also pretty easy. Forest of Morag is good. It's pretty fun throughout. The music is also great, one of my favorites in the game. Yokkaido is an amazing stage. Its gimmick is wind, which will push you in the direction it's going. However, it only goes right or up, so you can get some crazy speed boosts. The new enemies are pretty cool, and can be really scary when going for the S+. This stage is really fun with both characters. In the first stage, where I prefer playing as Axel, not only can you do some really cool stuff, but there's a bunch of scenarios where you can bounce into enemies repeatedly, which is very cool. You can also keep your combos going with Shoko when she flies during the stage. Shoko's also a really good boss. She's the first boss that gave me trouble. All of her attacks are fun to deal with, and you can get good damage if you play right. The music is amazing as well. It's really good. This would be my favorite stage, but that's for later. The exclusive stage for Hazel, Lago's Hyperbolics HQ, is another one of my favorite stages. You can Ghost Crescent enemies over and over and over, and the speed you get is really fun. For an S+, the time requirement is perfectly fine, but the combo requirement seems absolutely insane at first glance, being at a massive 160. It's really not that bad in practice, you just need to get really good at preserving your combo count. The stage design is also really good, as you really want to be as high as you can be, since the bottom parts will have a lot of enemies, but the cargo ships can save you, and are good for getting the combo requirement. The rest of the stage is also fun, but it's very easy, since the clones die in 4 hits. The boss is a bunch of clones, and it's a lot easier than Shoko was. Again, Code Bunny keeps winning with its music. It's another one of my favorites. Great stage overall, but the boss is easier for this part of the game. Now, Underpass, the special stage for Axel, it's really fun, since the amount of these enemies makes it pretty easy to get many bounces and continue your combos. Comet kicking on the rails also gives you a speed boost, which is really good for the S+. Speaking of that though, beef I have with this stage is entirely personal. At this section, I always missed the double comet boost needed here, and it felt so agonizing whenever I missed it. Being able to break the glass is cool too. Loon's second encounter is harder than his first one, but you still have windows for massive damage. The music is also great, and that reflects the stage itself. It's really fast and really fun. I'm not gonna waste your time here. Wonderland's my favorite stage in the game. This stage's music is also my favorite in the game. It's incredible, but onto the stage itself, it has a gimmick revolving around hats. You attack or jump on the blue ones, they activate, and when you drop through them, you appear out of the orange hats, keeping any momentum you had in them. It's a really fun gimmick and allows for some crazy stuff. The stage itself is also really fun. The hat gimmick is great, enemy placement is really good, and the fast pace helps. Also for the S+, Hazel's wasn't too bad, but Axel's took a while, until I found out you could just farm with these enemies, and I beat the stage easily from there. Raffi is also a nice difficulty bump. It's not high enough to be unreasonable, but she still gives me trouble to this day. Amazing stage, my favorite in the game. To finish things off, Yliaster Core is an almost perfect finale. This stage has a gimmick where if you fall down to a pit, you're taken to the top of the screen. It's really fun, and can allow you to do one move and get some insane distance off of it. The mini-boss is very funny initially, and acts as a nice optional checkpoint. It's really easy and fun to fight, but you can also just skip it by just walking past it. For an S+, you do have some good enemies to farm with, and they're in easy spots to notice. The second half of the stage is also pretty fun. It introduces lava as a way to make up for pits and spikes. It's nothing too crazy, but you can't get jump scared by lava and die. Overall though, it's a great stage, and a great finale. So Leo is a good final boss. All of her attacks are fun to deal with, and the music is great. Speaking of that, Yliaster Core's music is really good. It more than fits the scenario and pressure of the situation. This is the only stage where both characters need to farm combo points off an enemy though, which is an annoying pace breaker. All of the stages are pretty good. Wonderland's my favorite, and Lumna City's my least favorite, but that's due to it being the intro stage, so not much goes on compared to the other ones, but it's still fun to revisit. Getting an S+ also gave me a bigger appreciation for all of them, as they were all challenging. Now onto the extra stuff. Classic mode removes most of the story, leaving the talk room there for world building if wanted. There's a speedrun mode too, which not only is used for speedruns of course, but you get some cool stuff when you beat it. As Hazel, you get an upward slash. It's pretty good. It sends you and the enemies it hits upward, and you can cancel into it during a 4-hit combo or after it. It's a really fun move to use, and helps hit things in the air. As Axel, you get this massive jump you can do after a stomp on the ground, even without using EX gauge, but if it's full, you shoot up super high into the air. This one's also really fun to use, as this move makes it easier to go certain places or routes and stages. Both of these moves are pretty fun and fit right into their moveset, but let's get onto my thoughts on Code Bunny. Overall, I think Code Bunny is a really good game. I loved every second of it. The combat's fun, especially against the bosses. Both characters feel great to play, all of their moves are useful, the stages are great, and the music's really good. I pretty much have no major flaws with this game. The only minor issue I have with this game is the length, which is both a good and bad thing for me. On the good side, it makes this game replayable pretty much any time, as you can beat it in 30 minutes or less even on a casual run. On the other hand, there's only 7 stages in the game, and while they're different for both characters, replayability only gets you so far after you get S+ on everything. I don't like using this argument as a jab on this game, but that's the only real issue I have with it. I recommend this game heavily if you're remotely interested in it, especially those who like the Mega Man Zero and ZX games, because Code Bunny does what those games excel at. I'll have the Steam and itch.io pages in the description if you want to get it right now. Look forward to next year on this channel, it's gonna be great. But for one final thing, I want to show a teaser for the next review I'll make. This game is very close to me personally, and I'm really excited to make this, so I'll show it now.